Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to It's a Woke World.
Destruction be our lot, we ourselves must be the authors and finishers.
It's a world of power, a world of fears, and we work long days to make souvenirs. All the millions of thought and the leakers aside, it's a woke world after all. 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 It's a woke world. There is a land where you once lived free as a capitalist pig of the bourgeoisie. We could eat to work back and look up in the crap if we just get past that wall. It's a woke world after all. It's a woke world after all. It's a woke world after all. It's a woke world.
Call them all a bunch of communists, and I believe they are.
There you go. Hey, I'm a one-man operation here. What do you expect? Professionalism. That is from Politizoid. I put their link in the description after this live stream. Please go give them a click and a sub, at least for that video, because it was fucking hilarious. Thanks to Thundercats Ho for showing me that. And that's like right after I said, here we go in the chat, I'm like, oh, I want to put that up. And well, you can tell like how last minute that was. So welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com and my mom's vagina. I don't know if the video is going to go in the re-upload on Nerdrotic Live. Probably not, because I want to give them their clicks, but I did want to show that. That was hilarious. Hilarious. Yes, this is the last Nerdrotic Nooner before Las Vegas. We are just a couple of days away. Some of us in our sphere, our fellowship, are already on their way. I think Ryan gets there today from RK Outpost. Brian Kennel from REO Speed Post, and Jeremy is riding across America with his torn jeans and his Crocs and his blue sunglasses and listening to Michael Jackson. And last time I heard, he was in Nebraska visiting some people. Safe travels to my friend Jeremy. Yeah. So, and I just got back from the gym, because I don't have a ton of time. So we're gonna have some fun. So we're gonna talk about Vegas. We're also gonna talk about the Suicide Squad. More importantly, I went and saw it again with my sons yesterday. Saw a 2:00 show here in Southern California, in Escondido, California, which is in northern San Diego County. And I mean, it's a population of a couple million around here. And I sat in an empty theater. I think there was 20 people in there, you know, on an opening weekend of a film. Yes, it's on HBO Max. Yes, my Delta variant, my Epsilon variant, my Omega variant. And that's part of the problem. People are freaked out. And now they're not going to movie theaters. And you know what? This is consequences of your actions, Hollywood. You helped play into all the fear porn. You still are. Disney owns a major news corporation, ABC News, which peddles fear porn. And now your blockbuster movie is dead. I was just talking about this with Nerdrotic the Tall. That's my oldest son because he's tall. He's really tall. He's as tall as Drunk 3PO. And he agreed that he said that I think people are just out of the habit of going to movies now. They prefer streaming. And once you break a habit, it's kind of like what's going on in the comic book industry. And I saw this on a micro level. I guess that's the way to a micro. I don't know. But with comic book subscribers at my store, once a comic book title was late or it did something that was, the story went south, the character started not acting like the character, or they did something against the canon, and it broke the spell that people have with the thing they love. And then once that spell is broken, that's kind of it. And I saw that again on a very small level with individual comic book titles all the time. A very similar things happened to Doctor Who. Doctor Who could turn things around tomorrow and get a good showrunner and get a proper star. And even if they erased the canon, they would not get as many people back as they would have if they hadn't have done the dumb thing in the first place. Now, it's not Hollywood's fault that everything got shut down. But maybe, just maybe, it wouldn't have been shut down as long if, I don't know, we didn't politicize the pandemic and they didn't play their part in it. And we tried to work on a solution, some common ground. But instead, everybody went to their sides. There was no common ground. 1/3 of California's businesses are gone. I'd say it's more than that. I would say it's more like half. We have some that are barely hanging on right now. And the movie theaters are not going to survive another year of shutdowns. And this is why I said the Hollywood bailout was a horrible idea, because Hollywood gambled with our money. And I made 2 videos on this about 6 to 8 months ago. They gambled with our money and to keep the theaters open just so they could buy some time to fortify their streaming services. It was never about the theaters. They don't give a crap about the theaters. They have enough excess money to save the theaters. If you can give Alex Kurtzman $150 million, and if you can give the creators of South Park, which hey, you earned it, $900 million, I think you could help with the theater bailout instead of the taxpayer helping. That's not unlike a taxpayer paying a billionaire for his sports ball stadium, which I am absolutely against. Taxation is theft in the first place. But then we have the misappropriation of funds that's going on with those tax dollars all the time. And I think we got screwed on the Hollywood bailout. And I don't want the theaters to go out of business. I like movie theaters, but I went to a Regal theater. It's huge. And their ticket office is permanently, and I mean permanently, closed. There's paper on the windows. They don't need takers anymore because of Fandango. So that's an entire section of their building that's not going to be used. And then it was empty. It probably cost them more money to be open yesterday, and the same with the Jungle Cruise. So Hollywood is going to be missing those billions that they used to bring in every weekend, and now it's going to be hundreds of millions. And major industries don't like to contract, but that's what's happening right now. And what does it do for the quality? Well, it's bad news. It's bad news because right now the focus, Jason Blum said it in the article I covered on my video before last, where he said that it's all about content. And that's what we've been saying for quite some time. So I never wanted to be right, and I doubt you guys did either, and a lot of you guessed this stuff too. We just wanted we just wanted good film, good TV, entertainment, especially over the last year. It would have been nice to have some escapism, but that's gone. So the Suicide Squad did not do that well in movie theaters as expected. It's not going to do as well as the first movie did. And if you look back, Ryan brought this up on Friday Night Tights. If you look back, the first Suicide Squad made a lot of money. That's why it got a sequel greenlit pretty quick with David Ayer directing, and he decided to leave because they screwed him. And it's too bad because they're going to point at this movie now. And this movie was one of the better movies in a sea of absolute garbage. And they're going to say they didn't push enough inclusivity and diversity, even though it was plenty diverse and inclusive. They'll find a way to blame it on traditional storytelling. So you'll see the spin there. It's going to bite them in the ass. I mean, it's not going to help them at all. And I think another thing that plays into this is how the public views James Gunn. Like it or not, I don't think the guy should have been canceled, but and I think it's gone beyond that, beyond that whole dog and pony show where he wasn't really canceled. They were going to bring him back. And yes, part of free speech and free expression is having to listen to the ugly stuff. And that's the stuff I'm going to protect too. His jokes, I didn't find them funny. I don't think but that's just me. That's my personal line. I don't think there should be a law against any joke at all. But I think it's more his act afterwards. I think his attitude towards cancel culture is shit. What he said about Gina Carano. So does that factor in? Yes. I think everything factors in right now. When you are struggling, you need to think about everything you have done. If I was struggling at the comic store, I would think about everything I have done that could possibly alienate customers. I would go down the whole list, do a personal inventory. Now, Hollywood's never going to do a personal inventory, and they're never going to admit it. But Hollywood's act in general has alienated customers, along with James Gunn's act. And yes, it does factor into the empty theaters. Hollywood, we have been telling you this for some of us for 5 years, some of us for 10 years, some of us for just a couple of years. And we were right. You can, and yes, there's also the Delta variant. There's also, it's on a streaming service. There's also people broke the habit. It's also expensive. And it's also, you guys have been assholes to people for the last 4 years. And now, here's your consequence culture. Here is your effing consequence culture. So let's go. Oh, great. And just what you wanted to hear. Right after I defend Suicide Squad for not being woke, right? HBO Max's Peacemaker series will feature commentary on society, says James Gunn. And of course, the very pro-American John Cena, wasn't that his whole shtick? Now, I got out of wrestling before he came on the scene, or right around the time. I'm like, I got out of wrestling when I got out of prison. I was watching wrestling. You know, I was an Undertaker. I love the Undertaker, and Macho Man and Hulk Hogan, and you know, my favorite all-time wrestler is Roddy Piper. But I got out like 92 or 93, so it was before, I think, John Cena, or right around. So I always thought his shtick was, I'm very pro-America. Now he's very pro-China and pro-Hollywood, it appears. James Gunn, the creator of the upcoming HBO Max series, we already heard that in the headline, speaking with The Hollywood Reporter in a wide-ranging interview about the Suicide Squad and DC Films' future plans. Oh, they have a plan? I'm sorry, DC has a plan? I'm sure they have a plan to make movies, but I don't think they have a plan outside of that. Let's think about it. You came out with Wonder Woman 1984, which is a derivative of the Snyderverse after you got rid of Zack Snyder. You released the Snyder Cut, but then you make it very clear, very early on, you're done with him. And the Snyder Cut, arguably, most successful thing DC-wise you put out this year. I stop with the fucking Wonder Woman numbers and stuff. I would say with certainty that the Snyder Cut was more popular than Wonder Woman 1984. And then, you have the Suicide Squad. That's pretty good. But then we're going to get 5 Black Superman. We're going to get a Batgirl that doesn't look like Batgirl. We're going to get a Supergirl that doesn't look like Supergirl. We have the Batman. I did see the Batman trailer before Suicide Squad, and it seemed a little different. It seemed like it had a little bit of extra footage in it. I might be wrong. I need to go back. It's been a while since I've seen the trailer. By the way, my trailer reaction for the Batman, one of the only videos recently that I've been ratioed on. I got ratioed. Proudly got ratioed because I don't always have the popular opinion, and that's okay. And I could be wrong about the movie. I hope I am. It'll probably be the last white Batman. And my issues with it are mainly aren't with the story particularly. It's more with the aesthetic and the Jar Jar Abrams connection. Matt Reeves is a protege of Jar Jar Abrams, so I am going to assume anything somebody connected to Jar Jar does stinks until I see otherwise. Now, again, my mind is open to it. I am open to it, and I hope it's a good movie. The Hollywood Reporter's Brian Davids asks, now that you're probably in the editing room for Peacemaker, what is it shaping up to be genre-wise? Gunn answered, there are a lot of similarities to the Suicide Squad, and there's no holds bar, and I'm fine with that, but there are also a lot of things that are very different, and it's quieter in some ways. Really? Why would you want to make a Peacemaker show quieter? He then detailed it will feature commentary on society, saying it's significantly about different groups of people, so it's a little bit more about society. Okay, that's general. There is a way you can make that work. Sure. By the way, back to DC's plan, they have none. So they've got the Batman story, which is a prequel. Elseworlds takes place in the past. We had Wonder Woman 84, which was a derivative of Snyder Cut that takes place in the past. We have the Snyder Cut, we have the Snyder Cut come out, yes. And then we have the Suicide Squad, which takes place after the Snyder Cut because, man, I'm brain farting here. Bloodsport shot Superman with a kryptonite bullet. And then what do we have next? Is the Batman next? What's the next DC film? I think it's the Batman. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. It feels like there's one more that I'm forgetting. Gunn explained one of the leads in Peacemaker is one of the leads in Danielle Brooks, and one of the leads is Danielle Brooks, who plays Leedo Adboya, and she has a very different political view of the world than Peacemaker does. So it's just a little bit about just what's going on in the world, but also being a TV show, you really do have more time to delve much deeper into these characters and much more deeply into the drama and comedy of them. So it has a lot of similarities, but it's even more grounded, more natural, more real. No, but it's still within a big science fiction storyline that lasts for one season. You then tease Peacemaker might go on for more than one season. The main story lasts for the season, so it doesn't mean there's only one season of Peacemaker. Now, I knew Peacemaker wasn't going to die because he was getting a series. And then spoilers, there's the post-credit scene where he's still alive. I thought that was going to be Rick Flag. I think killing Rick Flag, spoilers, was fucking... That's a bummer. And I'll talk more about that later because I think Joel Kinnaman kind of suffers from the same thing Henry Cavill's suffering from. Yeah. It shouldn't come as a surprise that the Peacemaker show will feature commentary on society as the comics have done so since the 60s. This is true. The character first appeared in Charlton's Comics Fighting 5, number 40, in a backup series in 1966. After Fighting 5 was canceled with issue number 41, Charlton created their own Peacemaker series that lasted 5 titles and ran from March to November in 1967. I remember buying Charlton comics. The only way I bought them was when I was a wee little lad. This was, I believe, before DC bought them. or maybe DC published them as Charlton Comics. I can't remember, but I would go to, my dad used to take us on a lot of road trips. So I'd go to gas stations and truck stops, and there will be the little bagged comics. You get your bag of 5 comics for $1, and there would be the Charlton bag. And I always thought, that was the bag that my dad would always buy for me because he didn't know the difference between Marvel, DC, or anything. I was fine with it. I read them. I liked them. I don't know how much I actually read them. I was very young, so I might have caught a word here and there, but I was more into the, obviously the art. But yeah, God, I'm old. In his first appearance, Peacemaker is revealed to be a man named Christopher Smith, who is described as a man who detests war, violence, and the dreadful waste of human life in the senseless conflicts between nations. A man who loves peace so much that he's willing to fight for it. Oh, absolutely ridiculous. But hey, it freaking works. That cheesy costume. Okay, there's no more excuses, Hollywood. If you can have a cheesy Peacemaker costume, you can do any costume. Then we go through Peacemaker. Look at that. All right, so it's probably going to be political, and chances are it'll probably be woke. Not surprised. After Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad wasn't, and neither was Suicide Squad either. By the way, release the Ayer cut. I'm down. I'm totally down. Oh, hail to the ratio. I got that on my TSS video. What the fuck? Oh, the Suicide Squad. Duh. Sorry. Lethal. I'm American and slow. Yeah. Hey, hail to the ratio, brother. It keeps us honest. And, that's why we're not shills, brother. To you. I love Lethal Lightning. We totally disagree on the Suicide Squad, but at least there's a very good chance I could walk out of the Batman liking it. There's a very good chance. So hail Lethal Lightning, and I've just lost it, or I would have read how. Oh, there, the super chat was for $2 Australian. Thank you, Lethal Lightning. It's good to see you, bud. Oh, now, I mean, yeah, I like the movie. You could see my review. I think, it doesn't reinvent the wheel. Okay. And it didn't need to do that. It just needed to be a normal movie. And it was, it's like a movie made in 2014. That's how out of place it felt. And they're going to point directly to that, to why it failed. They're going to blame, see, that's where Hollywood has been sniffing their own farts for so long. And they have been, and over the last year, of course, they haven't had the big blockbuster, but they also haven't had the big bomb, the big embarrassing bomb. So they've been able to hide from their failures, hide their own failures on their streaming services. And now they're starting to think that they don't fail. Kevin Feige is starting to think that Marvel fans are there for him and for Disney and that Marvel logo, and not for, say, Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Hulk, the X-Men. I mentioned this in a previous live stream that DC Comics is basically 5 characters. It's 5 characters. There's 5,000 characters, and a lot of people like little bits of these other, but to the normies, what makes the ship go? What's the wind beneath DC's wings? Well, it's fucking Batman. It's Batman. And Superman and Flash and Green Lantern and Green Arrow to a certain extent, and Wonder Woman. But that's it. Everything else is part of a team, or it's writer and creator driven, and it gets into subsects after that. But what drives DC Comics is 5 characters. What drives Marvel Comics is 5 characters. Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man. It used to not be Captain America and Iron Man, by the way. That's a recent occurrence. Hulk, X-Men. Hell, X-Men and Spider-Man drove Marvel for years. And then you have, Daredevil, but it depends on who's writing it. And I doubt Hollywood understands that. I highly doubt Hollywood understands that. Now, they could certainly do things with obscure characters. They have more freedom. For example, Blade with Marvel, which they're about to screw up. What did I just read on I'm recording a Super Chat Square Up, and somebody said that it's down to Sigourney Weaver and who else? But Whistler's going to be female. Of course. A PG-13 Blade. Yeah, I'll watch the original. I'm fine with the original. It's going to be garbage. I can't remember. Was it Helen Mirren? Or was it oh my God, I'm blanking on her name now. I'm blanking on her name, so we'll just move on. But yeah, Whistler's going to be female. He's going to be any male character. It's not white male now. It's just male characters going to be surrounded by 5 or 6 more capable women, including Conan. When Conan is made on Netflix, his mom will solve the riddle of steel. So on and so forth. Nicholas Horton, welcome. What's up, man? You've been a member for 21 months. It says, "Hail, Gary. Have a good time in Vegas," and sent you a tweet on Twitter about the animated Witcher movie, which might be the only thing that's good. I will check it out, Nicholas. Thank you. TJ has been a member for 5 months. Wow. Hey, all, love y'all. Wish I could make it to Vegas. Hopefully next year. Yeah, I wish you could too. It's okay. And there will be a next year. There will be a next year. Yeah, Vegas is ramping up. I'm mostly packed. I just have to pack my gear. And yeah, we're purposefully keeping it not over organized. For one, it would fall apart. I think having 2 meetups is good. And then that allows us time to be flexible in between meetups. Here's a little bit to give props to Mr. Chan, to the great opening. Well done, sir. Thank you, Shane Bentley, for $5. We love Perry Chan. He is an international treasure. Absolute international treasure. So I had a lot of time to ponder as I was watching the ending credits for the Suicide Squad with, thousands of names under the effects division. And there, there's like a small town going across the screen. And I don't think they recover from this. This was their chance. And with, Kong versus Godzilla, it looked good. And I'm like, wow, maybe I was wrong, which is great. But as Hollywood goes, as California goes, Hollywood goes. And LA is starting to give us signs of, they got the mask mandate. You're going to probably have to have a passport. This is just my opinion. I can't say definitely, but I really think they're going to lock down in a couple of months, maybe sooner. And I think there's a lot of states pushing for that because they really loved that power last summer and they want to revisit it. Although we recently had an event that was, I would say, as bad as Gavin Newsom's French Laundry. We had former President Obama's birthday party, which was a very intimate gathering on Martha's Vineyard. How did he make that much money? What does the president pull down? $400,000 a year? But that house isn't like multi-millionaire house. That's like billionaire house. I know how he made the money, by the way. Speeches. He made the money giving speeches. Right. Nicholas Horton, thank you for the $2 super sticker. I appreciate it. I do. Oh, God, I forgot to mention this on, let me get this $50 super chat. Then there's something I got to mention about a great YouTuber out there. Give me just a moment with Bootleg Intellect for $50. I miss the old days when comic book folks weren't hucksters and frauds. Thanks for being honest, dude. Gary, and for all the hard work it takes to be straight up and heard in this stupid SJW pop culture environment. Yeah, Bootleg, thank you. Yeah, the hucksters and the frauds used to be the freaking comic shop owners back in the day. Robert Beerbaum. Sorry, did I say that out loud? That's in my opinion, by the way. That's just my opinion. Everything here is my opinion. Robert Beerbaum. But yeah, the shady guys were the comic shop owners. And that changed over time. And now the shady guys and gals work in the industry. And that's something, Bootleg, I noticed early on. And that's why I didn't go after creatives. I had probably 8 or 9 signings in my store over the 10 years. And I only had 3 or 4 artists come by because I met a real nice one, and that's the one I just kept having come back because he was nice, right? And then the other ones I met, I didn't like very much. And I heard stuff like Garth Ennis calling comic book readers mouth breathers. And that's what he thinks of all of us to this very day. And it was a bummer to hear that because I love Garth Ennis's writing. So I'm like, you know what? It's best that I just don't know these guys so it doesn't affect how I feel. Okay, real quick, I got to go double check because it's been a day. Memology was having some trouble. I don't know if it got fixed or not. So I'm checking real quick. If anybody knows in the chat, I know that he said his channel, he was locked out of his channel. I'm going down his Twitter timeline. I don't know. Okay, here we go. So as of August 5th, unless YouTube intervenes, Memology's channel, he's locked out of it. It's still up. I don't know if he's posted a video. I probably should check. I never get follow-ups on these things. But I meant to shout this out on Friday Night Tights, and I didn't. So did he put up something new? Yeah, so I guess he's not locked out anymore. Okay, that's good. He was locked out, and Ryan is, I got to show this off, and Ryan is still prominently up. Let's take a look. So I guess he got locked out, and it took a while for him to, it took 3 or 4 days to get his channel back, but I'm glad he got his channel back. And I know there's a lot of skullduggery going on behind the scenes at YouTube, but I'm very happy Memology is okay. Hail Memology. We love you. We love you, man. So Marvel stands angry at Marvel for promoting What If's Captain Carter. Why? Why would they be angry? You think they'd be happy about that? You know what I'm pissed off about is I saw the Eternals trailer again, and I heard that I forgot what the character's name is from the Eternals. Call Captain America Captain Rogers, and that fucking pisses me off Because see, that's Marvel and Kevin Feige again thinking that you're showing up for that brand, and they're going to find out different. Justice League actor J.K. Simmons in talks to reprise Commissioner Gordon in HBO Max's Batgirl. Okay, see that plan I was talking about? So Jeffrey Wright is Commissioner Gordon in the Batman. J.K. Simmons is Commissioner Gordon in the Batgirl. So is each story, I mean, like, if you want to do it like this, why not, I guess? You're just going to make each story in its own world and see which one works and then make a franchise out of it. See, it just sounds like they don't have a plan. And maybe if they stuck with their original plan, maybe if it got off to a rough start, it might have worked itself out. Admittedly, some of the things I heard about what Snyder wanted to do, like kill Batman, I didn't like. I don't want to see a story where Batman dies. I don't want to see Batman die. I'd like to see a Batman story with Robin, a full rogues gallery of villains that's like fully, in their prime, a fully operational in its prime Batmobile and a Batwing and a fucking Batcopter and a Bat surfboard. I don't care. I want Alfred. I want a Batcave. I want a Batman in his prime. Not like an old Batman, not like second year Batman or first year Batman. And please do not kill the Waynes again. I don't need a fucking origin. What we haven't gotten is a Batman in his prime. Except in the animated series. When is somebody going to figure out we should do what the animated series did? That might work. I know there's a YouTuber out there who thinks it isn't good. It's just a YouTuber who doesn't think it's good. That matters not to anybody. First, let's go to this. Why are Marvel stands angry? You think they would love... Oh my God, that looks terrible. It's a woman's head on a man's body. And once you look at it like that, it looks like a science experiment gone wrong. The official Captain America account recently renamed itself to Captain Carter and featured a new bio that reads, "See Captain Carter in a new episode of Marvel Studios' What If" on Wednesday. Yeah, Marvel's big what if. What if we gender and race swapped all of our characters? Well, you're doing it anyway. It's not a what if. It's what's happening. Along with changing their name and bio, they also recently promoted the show with 2 new posters featuring Peggy Carter and Steve Rogers as the What If variants. In one tweet, they wrote, "See Peggy Carter and Steve Rogers in a whole new way this Wednesday when the first episode of Marvel Studios' What If starts streaming on Disney+." This What If episode is going to be, what if a woman was a man and a man was a woman? What if we reverse the gender roles? So we'll keep Steve Rogers skinny and frail, and that way Peggy Carter can lead him in all the dancing and dip him while she kisses him and save the manzel in distress. That's all they're doing here. This Wednesday reveals the secrets of the multiverse in Marvel Studios' What If, and stream the first episode of the original series on Disney+. All right, we got all that. Can I hit this play? I don't like the animation. I don't think it's that great. Is that me? I know. That whole a woman's head on a man's body thing bothers me. Fans reacted to this change on Twitter account and the promotion of Captain Carter with outrage and disappointment, among other emotions. One user wrote, Marvel couldn't wait to replace Sam Wilson with the white face. Oh, really? They're going there? I didn't even... Sam Wilson is not Captain America. You guys do realize, like, it failed miserably in the comic books. He's Black Captain America. He's Falcon Captain America, but he's not Captain America. Oh, Twitter's just filled with the retard. It's just a retard. Another wrote, the way that Marvel is doing more to show off Captain Carter than they have been doing showing off Sam Wilson, who is actually Captain America. Hey, Marvel, this is what you fucking get. These are the fucking people you listen to, you fucking retards. And this is what you get. You absolutely earned this. I love it. Oh, it's beautiful. You go get them. Twitter user Fangirls, a very, very reputable source of information, wrote, Marvel with the Falcon and Winter Soldier, we have a black cap, folks. The user added, Marvel, 5 minutes later, we're going to erase Sam Wilson from What If and give the cap mantle to an upper-class British white woman that was in charge of recruiting Nazis. Oh, this can't be real. Oh, it's real. I love it. Get him. Oh. What is this? Loki's Verite wrote, look, I'm excited for Peggy content, but not... Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm doing this all wrong. Marvel with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We have a black cap, folks. Marvel 5 minutes later, we're going to erase Sam Wilson from What If and give the cap mantle to an upper-class British white woman that was in charge of recruiting Nazis. I'm like totally excited for Peggy Carter content, but not like this. She's not even Captain America. Make a new account for Captain Carter and put Sam Wilson back where he belongs. Oh, I'm loving this. Oh. Twitter is filled with the retard. Why don't you give Black Captain America his own account called The Falcon? You know, the superhero that he was in the first place? A notable black superhero. One of the first, not the first, but one of the first. One of the first prominent black superheroes. I do believe he's the first black superhero to get a toy. To get an action figure. The Falcon. And then you gave him a well-established white man's hand-me-downs. By the way, I think she's Captain Britain. I prefer Union Jack, personally. Armor Wars wrote, we'll only accept this if they also changed Guardians of the Galaxy's account to a picture of T'Challa as Star-Lord or something, because this is really weird to remove Sam Wilson like that when you could just market this show through, you know, What If Twitter account. Oh my God. Hey, wait till they have to remove Sam Wilson as Captain America and make it Steve Rogers again. Because they'll be desperate because they need to make money. I don't know if they'll do that. I don't think they'll ever do that. I think this is it. That's me. Cap's Marvelette tweeted, how are they going to put her on the Captain America page when she's sporting straight British wear? Give this account back to Sam Wilson and make her a new one. Listen to all these like demanding shits. You do this now. Fix this now. These are the ones who call us entitled, by the way. I can't believe Marvel changed the Captain Marvel page from Sam Wilson to Peggy. It's not fake. Eternal Wilson simply declared, bring the Sam Wilson layout back. The world is filled with the retard. That's my takeaway. So yeah, what is John always asks at the bottom of his articles. He's like, what do you guys think? I love John F. Trent, by the way. He's a buddy of mine. So what do you make of the outrage, disappointment, and other emotions these Marvel stans are expressing towards Marvel for changing the official Captain America account to Sam Wilson? I'm sorry, to Captain Carter, in order to promote the upcoming What If series on Disney+. I think it's fucking hilarious. Let them eat their own. And Disney is now seeing, well, they've seen this for a while, that the people you are playing to don't have any money. They don't care. They just want it. The only thing they care about is what's on Twitter, that layout on Twitter. I highly doubt most of these people watched the entire series of The Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think they are retarded. Sip of coffee for the working man. Oh my God, that was beautiful. It's been so good lately. I mean, I know it seemed like for a minute there, especially after the Alex Kurtzman signing, I know a lot of you felt that was a punch in the gut. It was a punch in the gut. It was. But now that you've thought about it for a minute, you're like I was. I'm like, Star Trek's dead. And it will not get fixed anytime soon. Even if they fired Kurtzman tomorrow, it would be minimum 5 years, 7 years till they could possibly turn it around. And I don't think they could. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that the brass at Paramount Plus is idiotic. And I showed you guys the board members on my last live stream. Those are the people making the decisions. Are you surprised now after seeing those people with their freaking fake baked fucking tans and their bleached teeth and their fucking hair pieces and they're like these, I mean, like, forgive me, but they're like these blobby people, but they have like this perfect skin. They're full of shit. And they're dumb. And they don't watch their own stuff. So I know a lot of people were discouraged after the Alex Kurtzman thing, but I think you can take, at least go to bed at night knowing it will be a massive, disastrous failure. And if they want to stick with that guy till 2026, okay. Nobody's talking about Star Trek now. What do you think it's going to be like in 2026? I think Kurtzman has convinced them that he's Marvel. Yeah, he is Marvel now. He absolutely is Marvel now. That's what he is. But no, we're starting to see, with the Black Widow failure, and that's what it was a failure. And it wouldn't be a failure if it was a good movie. If Black Widow was a good movie, it wouldn't be a failure based on the strength of Marvel's brand. The Suicide Squad was not a success because DC does not have a strong brand. DC doesn't have a strong brand because Warner Brothers is run by idiots, just like Paramount Plus. I think they're pretty much in the same vein at this point. I think they're just as dumb. Drinker made a great video essentially about fans and fan service. And what he did was what Drinker does, which is fantastic, is he is able to collect and collate the arguments over the last 4 years that we've all made and make it into this nice bite-sized digestible thing, right? And that's what he did. And he pointed out, and we talked about this on Friday Night Tights, Sonic the Hedgehog. The director responded positively to the fandom. I remind you, that director was called all kinds of shit, all kinds of horrible shit on Twitter. And he did not bite into any of that. He said he just responded to the legitimate argument like, hey, Sonic looks like shit. Let's fix it. They delayed the film. They fixed it. They got a sequel. Problem solved. You think all of Hollywood would have seen that and copied that, but they can't, because that would require them to be a little bit humble, just a tiny bit humble. And what Hollywood needs to figure out, aside from we are tired of being preached at, we're tired of your fucking holier than thou, moralistic grandizing that you're doing constantly. In this new world we're in, this paradigm shift, you want to be connected to your customer, but this ain't like the old days where you can curate your following to a bunch of sycophants. You're going to have to be humble. And that will help you look human and ingratiate yourself. Jodie Whittaker, there was a bit of a debate, wasn't much of a debate. Screen Rant put up an article yesterday stating that Jodie got a raw deal. It was just Chris Chibnall's bad writing. No, Jodie was bad doctor. Chris Chibnall was a bad writer. She got hired. She wasn't good at her job. And from the get-go, she repeated that old Doctor Who was only from one perspective, and that got old. It's a practice in the male gaze, and she doesn't even understand how that sounds. It disrespects all previous Who and all the fans and everybody who worked on it. And you're the ambassador of Doctor Who. Could you imagine Peter Capaldi saying something like that? No. So no, Jodie wasn't good. She wasn't a good doctor. She was a bad doctor. She played the part bad. And the writing was bad. But even with good writing, she wouldn't be a good doctor. But I will say, even if you put a dude in that role, it still would have sucked just as much because the writing was bad. And now Doctor Who's dead. Great. So they either wake up or not. And there are examples. And I think Ghostbusters is following that example. I think that I got a good feeling. And I'm going to allow myself to have this good feeling. If I got my heart broken, whatever. My heart has been broken to pieces in the past. Absolute pieces. And I've survived that. I've survived deaths in the family. I've survived losing a business. I've survived the divorce. I think I can handle a Ghostbusters movie breaking my heart. So I'm going to allow it because everything I see, everything I hear tells me that at least they are going to try to make a movie for everyone, a good movie. And you know what? The Suicide Squad, as far as accessible, it's rated R. It's gory. It's not for everyone, but it's not a film that alienates anyone either. I did see a guy brought in a 6-year-old kid yesterday. Don't bring your 6-year-old kid to the Suicide Squad. I mean, I'm not into telling people what to do, but consider that a recommendation. Don't bring your 6-year-old kid to the Suicide Squad. It's not a good movie for a 6-year-old kid. For Pete's sake. We got to look at that again. That looks terrible. What the hell? So it's going to be, what if Star-Lord was black? What if Captain America had a female head? What if Iron Man was black? And then there's the Marvel Zombies. But again, coming from Disney, I expected a little better art. It looks too computery and stuff. I could be wrong on that one. I'm going to watch the first episode. I'll be in Vegas. I'll try to review it. I don't know if I'll have time or not, but we shall see. We shall see. I think another reason Suicide Squad is hurting is because of the critic reviews. When you see 90% or higher on Rotten Tomatoes, it usually means the movie is woke. I probably would have never seen the movie if I hadn't been for Ryan's review beforehand. Yeah, I just completely ignored the critic reviews. And yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I've never thought of it that way, but that is a good point. Yeah, Ryan did a review with Chris Gore. That was awesome. That was quite good. Sorry, I'm looking for something here and I'm not finding it. There it is. Solander for 24 New Zealand Middle Earth dollars says, hey, just a reminder about the email I sent you about the short film I made. It's been 7 weeks. No rush. Read the latest one. It has an updated link. Would be good before Vegas. A short film. Okay. Yeah, this is the first time hearing of it. Mrs. Nerdrotic probably saw that email. And yeah, I'll take a look at it. I don't know. If it's a short film, that's fine. I can take a look at it. What's it about? Pitch it to me, man. All I'm hearing is short film. I mean, I appreciate the super chat, but if you want to sell it to the chat, I would say get your 1 minute pitch going and put that in the super chat. And that way that would direct other people, like, give me the title of your short film and put in like just a sentence of what it's about. Just a recommendation in the future. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. TJ 999. Here's a little something from me to you for Vegas. Wish I could have come this year. I wish you could too. But I will definitely come next year if I have to drive across the country to get there. Love you. All hail Gary. Hail to you. Hail the chat. Hail the Modrotics. Yeah, I think if short films, independent films have this huge problem of distribution and getting it out there. I was trying to think of another term for it, but just getting it out there is good enough. I know Chris Gore has talked about this in the past, and there has to be, we need a couple of solid locations, and there's dangers that come with this, but to find independent films, like an aggregate or something. In a perfect world, it wouldn't be an aggregate that makes money, because once you get an aggregator of independent films, then it becomes the power, and I don't necessarily think that's good for independent films. I know there's thousands of them out there and I never see them. People don't send me emails. I would love to, especially if it's science fiction, fantasy, or a good hard-boiled detective, noir, drug deal gone bad. I'd love to see it. When it comes to fan films, they have to be extraordinary, like that Batman one. Dying is Easy. Holy shit. That was extraordinary. Personally, I think I would recommend that you make your own stuff over a fan film, because you can make money and turn it into something, and it's yours. It's yours. The Tweaky Kid for $9.99. Can we get Valen and Zathras to send those soon to be dead theaters to say the summer of 1977? Yeah, those that are around could see Star Wars comfortably. Yes. No one listens to Zathras. It's a little B5 reference that I now understand. Halesburg for $5. I'm sorry to bring this up, but Ethan Klein mocked Crowder while he was in the hospital. It's so disgusting. Ethan Klein's a prick. Ethan Klein's a fucking prick. He has every right to be a prick on his own fucking channel. And I never watched his stuff when he was supposedly good, and I don't watch his stuff now. I never watched H3. I wasn't into that kind of YouTube when it was around. I was actually watching political stuff and nerd stuff. But yeah, mocking somebody when they're in a hospital. Listen, somebody mocked Lauren Chen's dad for getting cancer yesterday. Let's embarrass somebody who deserves it. This hits home. My pop died of cancer. All right. So some asshole, and this was like the worst take on the internet yesterday. I'm sure he's deleted the tweet by now, so I might have to paraphrase. Oh, nope, the guy left it up. Okay, here we go. This is why I know I'm on the right side of history. And so are you. Because when you have to mock somebody for being in the hospital because you, A, don't like them or you disagree with them politically. Oh, by the way, there's a YouTuber out there who had wished that the coronavirus killed me and Midnight's Edge and others and Jeremy. Oh, yeah. People say horrible shit all the time. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I don't bring it attention. That's the best way to deal with it. I don't have a fragile ego. Even when horrible shit like that is said, I consider the source and I don't take it seriously at all. But no, this is the horrible shit people will say because you disagree with them. That shows how weak they are. You are an incredibly weak person if something I think or says cripples you in any way. We're going to talk about that Star Wars store owner in just a second. And we're going to talk about the importance of confidence, of a positive, of being comfortable in your own skin, like how vital that is for your life, and how much it can cripple you and destroy you. But first, let's go to this asshole. So we'll start out with Julian Chuang. By the way, I checked out his account. He actually went to school. Somebody paid for this clown to go to school. The problem with Lauren Chen is that she plays this stupid right-wing culture crusade so she can grift American conservatives with GoFundMe drives for her dad, who has single-payer health insurance in Canada but still wanted to get treatment in the States. Okay, so I don't think this guy realizes the point that he helped make. For one, single-payer healthcare insurance in Canada, I don't have any experience. I only know what I've heard, and I've heard that it can be good for small stuff, but for the big stuff like the big C, it can be trouble. That's all I've heard. I don't know this, but I'm going to believe Lauren when she says, reminder that my dad had to get cancer treatment in America because the Canadian healthcare system failed him, even though he paid into it for decades. Bottom line, I would do anything to pay for my dad to get cancer treatment. And so would Lauren. Calling her a grifter. You could call people a grifter for a lot of things. You grift away, Lauren, if you need to grift to keep your dad alive. I would fucking happily give you money. And I'm sure a lot of people would. But stooping to this fucking level is the kind of shit we see on a minutely basis on fucking Twitter. Which means you don't have a fucking argument. When you have to go to this level, when you don't even realize that you're bringing up a woman's father's cancer to make some, political point? Piece of shit, ladies and gentlemen. Julian is a piece of shit. Unbelievable. So, yeah, there was that Star Wars store owner. And there was some follow-up with that. So, I'm sure you guys saw on Friday Night Tights and other places. There's a 78-year-old guy. I call him Darth Grandpa. I can't remember his name. In Washington. He's got a Star Wars store. A trans member of the city council or some politician went in there because they heard he had a sign up. Well, the reason he had a sign up that said basically, if you got a Johnson, you're a dude. And the reason he put that up was because they were trying to cancel Dr. Seuss. So he put this sign up because he got sick and tired of cancer culture. Weaponizing identity, weaponizing language is not going to turn out the way people think. It's going to have very, very, very bad repercussions on whatever cause you pretend to be about, because it's going to create resentment. And it's done that already. And now people are just fucking fed up. Instead of wanting to be a part of society, it seems like some of these, not everyone, but some people who identify as one of the alphabets, one of the letters, they want to be different. They want to be special. They want to be held up on a pedestal. Well, that ain't going to fucking happen. If you want normalization, then be fucking normal. Don't walk into somebody's store looking for a fight. You know what? I'm sure there's a sign somewhere that says, all men must die or something. I'm not going to seek it out. For one, I bring attention to it. And for two, so what? That's part of free speech and free expression. Just like you transitioning to a woman, that's part of your thing. You want to do that? You be you. You be happy. The minute you weaponize that, the minute you turn it around and try to harm people, especially an elderly veteran, a guy who fought in Vietnam, so you can transition in a country where you won't be, thrown off a building for it. And instead of being grateful, you're seeking out trouble, which tells me that individual needs a lot of fucking help, needs a lot of psychological help. Normal people don't do that. I don't care how you dress or how you identify. Normal people don't do that. People who are comfortable, if you're all proud of who you are, you should be happy. I mean, that's the whole point of this, right? Is like, I felt trapped in another body. Now I am free. I am happy, joyous, and free. And who gives a two fucks what people think about me? Well, you're seeing these transitions and you're seeing people still having problems with themselves. So maybe that's not the solution. I don't know. I'm not in your head. Alls I know is for me, the path to happiness, and I'm like not this perfectly happy person. I'm not Zen. I'm not like levitating in fucking Tibet or anything like that anytime soon. But I'm very comfortable in my skin, and the path to that is gratitude. Finding the good, understanding the bad, accepting my responsibility with the things I've had problems with. Working on those problems, working past them, working past resentment. So I'm not going on and on about it. So I'm not, standing in a Star Wars store yelling at a 78-year-old with a dress on. I don't think that's inspiring. What was inspiring was that person tried to weaponize their identity, their language, and get fucking Antifa to go to this guy's store to harm him, to fucking harm him. And nobody fucking showed up. Instead, defenders showed up. I was very happy to see that. So, Gramps, you stand your ground. We got your back, buddy. That was fucking great to see. And no, not playing by your rules. Not playing by your fucking rules. Ban me off Twitter. I don't give a shit. Fuck Twitter. I don't live my life by Twitter. And Carrie put it best on Friday Night Tights. She is really good at this. Essentially, what society is trying to do is to get you to lie. Okay? They want you to play along with a lie. And that's why a lot of you have a big problem with it. I know most of you out there are like, hey, if somebody wants to transition, good, fucking whatever. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect my life in the least bit. You do what you got to do. Just stay out of my face about it. Like, that should be a personal decision. What's happening is people are like, I'm transitioning. They're like getting in your face and screaming that they're transitioning. It's like, okay, transition. I'm going to go get lunch because I'm okay. You're not making any friends. You're making enemies. And through the trans community, we've seen Gina Carano get canceled. We've seen multiple people lose their jobs, their careers. And unless they broke the law, that shouldn't be happening. That shouldn't be happening. It's almost like you're not really about the cause. You're more about the power. No, it's not almost like. That's exactly what it is. And it's time for more and more people to just call it out and say fucking no. No to this bullshit. No. My free speech, my free expression, my liberty does not give a shit about your feelings, and it won't compromise for fucking anything. That goes for fucking COOF restrictions too. Gary Jensen, put it on 00 green and also don't understand the game. I don't even know what you're saying there. Put it on 00 green. I also don't understand the game. Gary, what are you talking about? Did I miss something there? Fill me in on the chat on that one. Thank you for the $50 there. Next year's meetup at the Texas State Fair. Fried food and nerdy stuff, says D-Dog's awesome stuff. Yeah, hey, I would, yeah, we're going to do a meetup in Texas. Why not? The Texas State Fair, that would be fantastic. Let's do it. Hail, Gary. Just watched Jungle Cruise, so between all the remarks about Miss Pants' fashion statement or how superior she is, the actual story felt like better Pirates of the Caribbean than Dead Men Tell No Tales. Yeah, I didn't like it, but it wasn't terrible. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind sitting through it once. I would never do it again. I would never, ever do it again. Imagine calling for the team mascot only to be posted all over social media because people said you said the N-word. Colorado Rockies mascot is named Dinger. People hear what they want to. Oh, did that really happen? John Cream for $10? Well, I wouldn't name the name. I mean, that's just a bad name for a mascot. What's that even supposed to mean? But yeah, people hear what they want to hear. But it says ding. It's not like you're digging a hole. It says ding. Gary, I live in England, but if I could, I'd fly to Aberdeen, Washington, just to visit the man's shop, buy some comics, shake his hand, and tell him how awesome he is. You know what? I actually looked into how long it's a long drive from San Diego. If I was in San Francisco, I probably would have driven up there. But San Diego is like 18 hours. I'm like, nah, I'm doing the Vegas thing already. But I would love to talk to him on Friday Night Tights if we could. Oh, whoops. Hang on. There we go. Oh, there's one of two. Common Sense for 50 pounds, right? Pounds. Thank you very much for 50 pounds. Greetings from Germany. 50 euros. Would have loved to join Neuroticon. Never been to Vegas, and it's been a while since I met real Yahtzees. Ours all are dead. Not sure if that translated well into English. But you still got the money, though. Funny. There, we'll say. Appreciate all you do. Love your life arc, especially your comic book store exit and how you turned that into the best time of your life. As one sharing a comparable past, a truly inspiring story. Fingers crossed for 22. Wish you all a great time. Thank you very much, Common Sense. Thank you. Yeah. That's something. That reminds me of something. Somebody emailed or DM'd Mrs. Nerdrotic. Excuse me, I'm going to drink some water. Thirsty. Somebody DM'd Mrs. Nerdrotic and said that I was getting too big for my britches. Because I said, and I will preface this very carefully, that if you are, well, let me do the full spiel. If you're on unemployment and you, A, are physically unable to work, or B, there's like no jobs near you, like you just can't go, there's no way for you to work without moving and you can't move. There's a lot of extenuating circumstances where you should absolutely be on unemployment, and I do not begrudge it at all. I made a point, I can't remember what live stream it was, but I said I was talking specifically to able-bodied people who are not going to work right now, because we have high unemployment numbers, and I see help wanted signs everywhere. So I called out the able-bodied. Again, if you're not an able-bodied person who can't go to work, then I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to able-bodied, healthy men and women who could go to work and who instead are collecting an unemployment check. I had a friend do this, and it pissed me off. I had a friend, he would come over and help me in the store, but this was back in 2008 when they extended the unemployment. He took every day of his 2 years. He was completely able-bodied. He could have found a job, but he waited until he couldn't collect any more unemployment. I called him out on it. I said, motherfucker, I pay into that, dude. Like, you're healthy. You're helping me. Go out and get a job. You want to know why? Because the more people take that money, it devalues our money. If they have to keep printing money to make stimulus checks and to extend unemployment, it devalues our money and it adds to the inflation that we're now seeing. Okay? We need people working. So somebody got mad that I said that I called out able-bodied people who could work and who aren't. And that means sometimes taking a job that doesn't pay as much. And then he called me out for being detached. And then Melissa responded, and I appreciate her doing this. I did that. I wouldn't say something. I wouldn't ask people to do something that I haven't done myself. So when I fell off the wagon and had to close my comic shop and sell my comic shop, I had to rebuild my life. I had to go to a sober living environment. I wasn't allowed back at home, and I had to get sober, and then I had to find a job, and I had to find the first job I can get. So back in the 90s, I was a parts professional. I made, at the last job, $30 to $35 an hour. The first job I took was $12.50 an hour. This was in 2014 at O'Reilly's Auto Parts. I took the first fucking job and it paid shit. And it was a crappy job. But I took it because I needed to feed my kids and I needed to work. And it was a giant step back. Now, it's very difficult for people to do that if they're getting paid more in unemployment than they would at a job. That I understand. And it's a significant difference. Again, I understand. But if there's a job out there that's like we're talking, thousands of dollars difference per year, it would be better for the country if you worked. It'd be better for yourself. You get back into that work routine, because once you get out of that routine, it is hard to get back into it. Just saying, some of that tough love. But as far as being detached, no, I had to, I worked my way back. I started at, I was making $12.50 an hour at O'Reilly's. Then I got a job at a crappy German car shop, which was run by actual racists, by the way. And that's still there, by the way, Advanced Auto Works in San Francisco. And I got paid, $14 an hour there. And then it was up to 15. I went to Chrysler, got a little more money, went to Toyota, got a little more money. Then finally, when I got the Tesla, I was making more money than I was in the 90s. So it took me 4 years, 4 years of grinding, and moving from job to job, and then finally working my way back up to what I was making 15 years previous. 15 years previous. Now, the comic shop, I never made a lot of money there. I was making more money in parts. And like, if this job goes away tomorrow, that's what I'm doing. I'm going back to parts. That's what I have to do. I don't want to, but that's what I'd have to do. It sucks. It sucks that we're all in it. And I know for a lot of people, it's a different situation, and there's jack shit you can do about it. Some people got absolutely screwed, like my wife. I watched my wife get fucking screwed. But you know what we can't do? We can't sit here for a year and whine about how much we got screwed. We can't afford that. Life is too short. You accept that you got screwed and move on and make sure it doesn't happen again. Do what you can to make sure it doesn't happen again. This was an extenuating circumstance. It was pretty crazy. This is act of God kind of shit, but not really. And hopefully our entire country learns from these lessons, but I just don't think it will. I don't think it will. It sounds like people just want to rush back into their comfort, which they're not going to have. Not for a while. Too many kneelers. Too many fucking kneelers right now. But, yeah. Sip of water for the working man. I slept under a fucking bush in Encinitas in front of a Long John Silver's. I know I was poor most of my life. I don't think I'll ever forget. Nor do I want to. Hey, Gary, just watched Chrissy Mayer stream New York protest. She shouted you out and peeps on the streets knew you. No way. Rock star status. Whoa. No way. Who's I can't frickin' A. I can't see who sent the super chat. Sir or ma'am who sent that super chat, your name is completely cut off. I will find it. Thank you for the undetermined amount of money. And thank you to freaking Chrissy Mayer, who's awesome. I'm going to go to my different list here. Yeah, shout out to everybody who went to the New York protest today, going out and protesting for our liberty, which again comes with no compromises. I don't sell out my fucking liberty. And we need to see more. If there's any of this shit on the West Coast, I'll be there. I'll be at any protest that's anywhere near me. I'll be there. And I'll fucking stream it. Because there's no way. I mean, like, we just have to say no this time. We cannot afford another lockdown. Our economy cannot afford another lockdown. It will be disastrous. And let's just go. Let's just play. In recovery, we say, let's play the tape all the way through. So what gets countries out of depressions and recessions generally? Did you say war? Yeah, you said war. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Now, Joe Rogan, one of the best clips ever has been going around on Twitter. I'm going to play it for you right here. Right here, right now. Now there it is. Adam Krigler tweeted it. Hopefully you'll be able to hear this.
What you can't do what you want to do unless you do what I want you to do. I mean, Don Lemon was talking about that openly on CNN. Yeah. Don't have a vaccine? Can't go to the supermarket. Don't have a vaccine? Can't go to work.
Like, it's so strange that people want to say things like that. Like, that's the thing that blows me away. Why do people want to?
Because they're dumb.
They're dumb.
They're dumb. They don't understand history. They don't understand human beings. They don't understand human nature. They don't understand the history of every single country that's ever existed other than the United States. Up until 1776, every fucking country that has ever existed was run by dictators.
Right.
All of them. This is the first one where you had elected officials. This is the first experiment in self-government that actually worked. And it created the greatest superpower the world's ever known. It created the greatest cultural machine, the greatest machine of art and creativity and innovation right fucking here. And how did it do that? It did it through freedom. Because when you give people freedom, let people do whatever the fuck they want to do, they actually find ways to succeed and grow.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Boots to them.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to It's a Woke World.
Dictatorship. That's what the fuck is happening. That's what's going to happen with a vaccine passport. That's what's going to happen if they close borders. You can't enter New York City unless you have your papers. You can't go to here unless you have that. You can't get on a plane unless you do what I say. And people say, whoa, it's all about protecting people from the... No, it's not. It's not, because we've shown this is a fact. Just a couple of months ago, the idea of a breakthrough case was unheard of. Nobody heard of anybody catching COVID that had a vaccine, right? That was the whole idea. You get a vaccine, you don't have to worry about it. Now we know not only do you get it, but you can spread it. And some people have died. Apparently, it's a small number. I don't know what the numbers are, but I know that most people who get vaccinated, when they do have the disease, they have a better time of it than the people who are unvaccinated. But where are the people out there calling for people to get healthy? Where are the people out there calling for people to lose weight?
There we go. That was pretty good. My camera freaked out. Hang on. Sorry about that. My camera freaked the fuck out. But what Joe said was right. Sorry for the interruptions in there, but that's what he said. He said fucking people don't know. They don't have enough imagination. They can't see how bad things can get, but they're going to get bad. All right, we're going to see if my device here can fix itself or not. Boom. Hang on. Yeah, this is weird. Give me just a moment. I'm going to have to remove the camera. Boom. There. All right. Fixed it. Give me just a moment. I have to custom. There we go. Ooh, that was close. I don't know why it freaked out on me right there, but it did. All right. We got T1 Jackal-Pup for $3. Says, here is Darth Grandpa's GoFundMe page. Please support him and his shop. And it's GoFundMe. I've got the link there. I mean, does he need financial support? I mean, I will shout him out. If one of the Modrotics could throw up the GoFundMe page, I don't have the ability to do that right now, but if one of the Modrotics wants to put it up there, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. And that's on, that was on the donation side. How long have we been going? Okay, we're good. I won't be at Vegas this year, except this as a proxy handshake for the one I had given you there, and I'll see you in 2022. Says Declan Lyons for €10. Hey, I will accept it, and thank you. I appreciate that. Listen, I'm sorry that most of the people from Europe can't go, and because of travel restrictions and stuff. And yeah, this was supposed to happen last year, and it didn't. And that's a bummer. But next year, hopefully, travel will be back. And if you're in the UK, if the Wales Comic-Con happens, I'm going. So I'll be there. And that should be, I think it's in a early part of next year, last time I heard. Daniel, thank you for $5. He says, double O's from Gary Jensen is for roulette. I don't play roulette, and I don't understand the game at all. But I can try to play it for you, or I can put it towards blackjack, which I play. So add another $5. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate you. Comic Quirks with Jimmy for $10 says, when I was 12, I actually went to the store because my dad was getting me into geek stuff. I met the old man and told him I like Star Trek more than Star Wars. He said, we all have our flaws. He's awesome. Oh, so you met that guy. That's brilliant. Okay. He sounds like a fucking cool guy. The same thing with the rental moratorium. The majority of people can pay the rent, but choose not to because there is no reason in their opinion. John Cream for $5. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people are just like, fuck it, everybody else is doing it. Why shouldn't I do it? Here's the problem. It's one step closer to communism, folks. What if they never lift the rental moratorium? They're also stopping banks from foreclosing houses. You need to be able to do that. If you value property value, if you have the hope of owning something in your life someday, this shit needs to matter to you. Because it's the foundation of our fucking country. Private property, liberty, these things are important. These things are worth fighting for. And I don't mean verbal fighting. John, thank you, John Cream, for the $5. Dimension X for $4.99. Yeah, you know what? I know what a dinger is, and I didn't even relate it to a mascot. I don't know how you could have a mascot that's a home run. So a dinger is a home run. That's what they were naming it after. Okay, it just didn't. Yeah, the two didn't like connect in my head. Thank you, Dimension X. Gary Jensen for $5. Sorry, was in a meeting. Double O Green at the craps table. Didn't think the super chat went through. It's okay. It's okay. Thanks. You could have just put that in the chat. You didn't have to give me another super chat. Thank you. I appreciate it. Ram Bam for 3,000 for £10 says, Gary, I live in England. Oh, but I read this one. Aberdeen, by the way, Aberdeen is the closest city to where my dad was born. Aberdeen, South Dakota, near Roscoe, South Dakota. Bear Business One for $20 says the great quote from the Joker. You get what you fucking deserve. Way to go, Marvel. Yep. Oh, yeah, that was beautiful. And when I first saw that article, I'm like, what are they talking about? And then, of course, I wasn't thinking woke four-dimensionally. I wasn't. Have you seen the Darkhold blade design with walrus tusks? It's kind of hilarious. No. I'll have to look at that. Holy whatever for $4.99. Human Kirk for 10 pounds. My fave show of the week. Have fun in Vegas and please remind Alex Kurtzman he sucks. Oh, I will. Oh, I will. I've got my I Stand with Vic t-shirt to walk around the Star Trek convention. I'm going to have to get a rapid COVID test to get in. And I think there'll be, 1,000 people there. I mean, it sounds like a total pain in the ass to get in. You have to prove you're vaccinated or get a rapid test, which they aren't everywhere. Rapid tests aren't everywhere. You got to go get an appointment. And I bet a ton of people last minute are just going to go, meh. At most, 4,000 people were going in the first place. I think it's half that this year. I'm glad it's your favorite show of the week. That's fucking awesome. I'll also go by, we'll see if Alec Peters will be there. Batman 1989 and Returns was Batman in his prime. Claudio Rogojan for $1.99. I disagree. Because he didn't have Robin and a rogues gallery of villains. Batman 1989, and I'd say Returns was as close as we'll ever see. I love those films. That's still not comic book Batman. It's Tim Burton Batman, which I liked. The closest thing to comic book Batman is, and this is comic book Batman. I know this is from Arkham City, but this is comic book Batman right here. Big fucking buff dude. It's not all armor. He's got a big Kevlar-ish suit on, right? So this I'll accept as comic book Batman. Have we seen anything like, Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck's Batman's been the closest thing to comic book Batman we have seen. In my humble opinion. I have been reading Batman for almost 50 years. So we all have different views of Batman. Some people started picking DC up at the New 52. Some people at Rebirth. Some people started reading Kelly Jones. I would say this is very close to Kelly Jones, like the 80s Batman. Especially those ears. I think Batman would be better served as a television show, as a detective television show. Great interview on Ricada's channel a few days ago. Also, Perry Chan should see about getting copies of your old booking photos. I have some. I have a t-shirt. Bill Atwood. I was thinking about making a video about Liberty. I had a great time on his. That was a fun time. 4 hours we were on. But yeah, if you want to go look on Ricada Law, it's there. I mean, I do think a certain point you've made enough money. Do you know who that quote is from? Unpopular Movie Opinions has provided it for $5. I mean, I do think a certain people have made enough money. Barack Obama. I dare Marvel to cast Queen Latifah as the new Blade, as will be able to buy himself a mansion. I think we all will. We all will. But I can't pronounce the guy's name. He's a great actor. He'll be a great Blade in a rated R movie not made for Disney. That's Disney's biggest problem. Disney can't make a rated R movie. They're pigeonholed into this family friendly shit, and they can only do so much with PG-13, and only Disney will do so much with PG-13. Darius Munchausen, thank you for the $1.49 super sticker. I appreciate it. Super Nate for $5 says the Suicide Squad spits on everything Marvel's put out over the past year. Freaking loved it. Yeah. It's I can't even compare it to Black Widow. It's 1,000 times better than Black Widow. It's also 1,000 times better than Wonder Woman 84. It's better than Loki. It's better than the Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's better than WandaVision. It's better than Captain Marvel. It's better than the Wasp and Ant-Man. I think it's better than Thor Ragnarok. I think it's better than... I judge a film, for me, it's not a score. It's like, will I go back and watch this again? I would say it's better than Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Or maybe right there. It's a 7.5, 8 out of 10. So considering all the shit we have gotten in the last couple of years, yeah, it's much better. That does help the film. It absolutely does. You have to consider it's surrounded by garbage, and it wasn't enough. Now, apparently a lot of people watched it on HBO Max. That's great. And I said this in my review. That's how I want to feel after I watch a comic book movie. I want to go read Suicide Squad comics. I went and dug out my new 50-fucking-2 Suicide, and I hate those. But I also have my other Suicide Squad. It's been one of my favorite teams. I like that concept, okay? So I like the Thunderbolts when Marvel did it. I like Suicide Squad. I like the Doom Patrol. I like Weird. I do like Weird when it's done right and it's not overtly political, right? Love Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol. Fucking love it. So yeah, I dug out my Joe Ostrander fucking Suicide Squad, which came out right around when the Justice League came out, which is like, to me, DC was at its best in the 80s and the early 90s. It was just great. And then they had another great era in the early 2000s. I know Snyder Cut fans don't want to hear this, so plug your ears. Jeff Johns wrote JSA. Jeff Johns' JSA is a masterpiece, dude. It's a fucking masterpiece. His Teen Titans is great. And then Jeff Loeb was doing Batman and Superman, which was fucking great. And by the way, those comics sold like crazy. Batman and Superman was my number one selling title over X-Men books. And I was a Marvel guy. And maybe that's what helped sell the book. But I kept talking about this Batman Superman book. I'm like, I fucking love this thing. You know? Yeah, like but DC had like moments of greatness, and then they get in their own way. They get in their own way. They're kind of like YouTubers. R.I.P. Batman. James Tynion quitting Batman is going to be a huge loss. Says, is it Carleton Legrand for $5? Yeah, it is going to be a huge loss. Apparently, his Batman was much better than Tom King's. I don't know. I stopped reading DC Comics after they hired Zoe Quinn and Tom King tried to cancel Jay Lee. And they didn't do anything to the guy. By the way, hashtag stop the Asian hate. Stop the Asian hate. Alrighty. I need to refresh this. We're going to go to the donation side real quick. How do I pronounce this? Cult Shale for $10 says, greetings from Austria. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I'm sorry if I screwed up your name there. Hail, Austria. Oh, that probably didn't sound good. No, I'm just kidding. Ike Nellis for $5. Hi, Gary. Unfortunately, can't make it to Vegas this time. Been constructing a building for my business and had to take extra contracts to make up for the price increases. Cough, cough. In materials. So I sadly don't have time. Next time. Yeah, that inflation I was talking about. Inflation comes from the devaluing of our currency. Our currency is being devalued because they're printing more of it, because they're paying people. There are things that need to stop very soon. The extended unemployment, the moratorium on renting and foreclosures. People have had a lot of time to figure this out. I think a lot of people, and I understand this, I do. I'm an empathetic guy. A lot of people were I can't believe this shit's going on. And it takes some people a little longer than others to realize this is unjust. I didn't do anything wrong. I played by the rules and I lost my job, my business, my house, whatever. Then there's a mourning period, and I understand that. But after that, we have to decide what to do. Because it never crossed my mind, and it never crossed Melissa's mind, that we were going to get compensation from the government from them shutting us down illegally and forcing my wife to close. Never did we think we would get compensation. That's why I'm sure there's class action lawsuits that we could probably be a part of. But there's a point where we go, well, fuck it. We have to do something right now. Thankfully, I had this gig thanks to you. And that allowed us time to think and get the fuck out. The first thing we thought about was, well, does it make any sense to work our asses off to live in California? Is it worth it to live in California? And the answer was no. And it was an emphatic no. And it didn't even take us time to think about it. So the first thing we did is we need to move somewhere cheaper for our kids. We need to move somewhere that's got a better school system, that's not as expensive, so our kids have a fighting chance when they get old enough too. And this is not the place to do it. And believe me, we know. Melissa and I have both done business for years in this state. I'm a native to this state. I've never lived anywhere else. And if you want to own a small business, get the fuck out. Don't do it here. Just don't do it here. I know some people just love California. I was one of those people. But is it the best use of my time to work twice as hard to make half as much? No. Where I can go to Texas and my money goes a little farther. Oh, and there's all that freedom and liberty. My Dixie wrecked for $25 for everyone who are staying home when they can work. They are in for a rude awakening. Employers are going to look at the year gap in your work history and remember their desperation for workers in the last year and want no part of you. Yeah. I'm not even saying it as a judgment, okay? Whatever happened. I really highly recommend people, if you're able-bodied, to get to work. Again, if we're talking to somebody who has had adverse reactions from the COOF, you're physically not able to do it, you're handicapped, I'm not talking to you. Please, continue doing what you're doing. But it's for the good of the country. I'm hearing all this for the good of the country shit. I'm seeing all these assholes on Twitter shaming people for masks and for not being vaccinated. For one, this is supposed to be the empathetic side, right? So you're not going to convince any American, any red, white, and blue colored blood American is not going to fucking react to being told what to do ever. So if you want to win people over, I would try a different way. I know Philly DeFranco, you know, the guy who looks like a freaking retard on his fucking thumbnails, is out there being an edgelord, calling anybody who basically who has access to the vaccine, who doesn't go and get vaccinated, you're a fucking idiot and all this other stuff. Yeah, edgy dude. I know. I'm punching up on this one. That's the guy who helped create or helped push BetterHelp, right? Which was supposed to be to fight depression. And now this fool is out there acting like a fucking jock, especially when you look that dumb on your thumbnails. He is precisely the reason I don't put my face on a thumbnail. I've done it once. I don't feel super comfortable doing it because it looks cheesy. It looks really cheesy and bad. He's always, does he have a file? You think of like, this is my questioning facial expression. Where's your vax shaming facial expression? Hardwick Benthau, Ratcatcher 2's pet rat Sebastian was played by over a dozen trained rat. I thought it was 2. But the main 2 who played most of the movie were named Jaws and Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt was named for Chris Pratt. Oh, that's cool. Polka Dot Man's mother forced experimental procedures on the children, and yeah. And she looks almost exactly like Rachel Levine. Dude, I was saying that on Twitter, and nobody caught it, Hardwick. While I was watching the movie and reviewing it, I put up a tweet saying, Polka Dot Man's mom reminds me of somebody, and nobody caught it. So at least you did. Polka Dot Man's mom looks like Rachel Levine, who, by the way, was experimenting on her children. Thank you. Manowar 665, the neighbor of the beast, for 665 says, what if I gave a shit? I don't. Once again, Gary, Twitter outrage over Agent Carter's promotion to Elseworlds Captain Britain has made my day. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, Marvel. Yes, Stephen Kraft for $3. And it also shows like how stupid the Marvel stands are. I didn't even bring that part up. Like how fucking, like they don't read any of the comics. They don't know what the fuck they're fucking talking about. They are truly Marvel stands. This is a gesture of Roanoke for $2 says, how does one go about buying short stock in Hollywood? The collapse has to be coming soon. And sadly, many mid-level character actors and tech people will be out of work. They need to start shorting the entertainment market if they plan on financial stability. Well, they're used to not having it. And yeah, I am sympathetic towards the middle-class Hollywood worker who I know, like if they, whatever project they work on, I am not critiquing them, right? That they're not who I'm after. That's who I've never been after. I'm after the big shots. I understand they're doing a job, but it's time for more of them to speak up. And we also need more, especially the actors who are the adult pretenders in Hollywood who don't feel like the progressive left, who think they can fight against it and don't say anything. We need them to say stuff. That needs to start happening. We need to start speaking up more, or like it's going to turn into a fight. I want to avoid the fight part. That's very much what I want to avoid. I've got two children that are constantly on my mind about everything. And I don't want what Tim Pool says. Now, I don't think the country is getting that bad. Great example. I was watching, I wanted to go to a happy place. So I watched Doctor Who 2005 season 1, Christopher Eccleston. And if you remember in The Empty Child, they're talking, Rose is talking, I'm forgetting her name. Rose is talking to, I should remember her name. I've seen the episode like 100 times, but I'm not remembering her name. Rose is talking to the young mother of the empty child. And she's talking about how she's from the future. And the young mother, by the way, this takes place in World War II London while they're being bombed by the Germans. And it looks like the end of the world to her. And she says, how could you be from the future? How can we have a future? And Rose is all, what are you talking about? And she goes, look, we're getting bombed. Like, we're dead. We're all going to die. And Rose goes, oh, no. You win. You guys win. Now, imagine telling somebody in Britain, right when they're getting bombed by the Germans and just overrun that, oh, you win. They're going to go, fuck you. These are the worst times. These are the end times. This is Armageddon. But it wasn't. So it might seem like to a lot of people like these are bad. And these aren't great times, believe me. They're not fantastic times. But it's not Armageddon. It's not the end. We want to make sure it isn't. We want to be wary because that certainly could happen. I'm not going to tell you it can't happen because it can. But things have actually been worse. I mean, there's actually been civil wars. There's been constant rioting, and there's shit that we don't know about that happened, that's been erased from history. There's been a lot of shit going on. There's been a lot of instability, and we survived. We're going to survive this. Stephen Kraft for $10. Hail, Gary. Sorry that Suicide Squad 2 isn't doing well in theaters. Oh, I don't care. No skin off my back. I will watch it on HBO Max based on your recommendation. I think we have to support stuff that isn't pushing politics, even if I was not crazy about the first movie, See You in Vegas. Yeah, it's the first movie that hurt the second movie. Even though it got a sequel, it was panned of unfairly so, I think, in some aspects. And I don't know. Okay. Ayer cut fans, if you want an Ayer cut, this movie needs to do well. I hope you realize that. So if you want an Ayer cut, this Suicide Squad needs to do well. If it doesn't, then you're not getting an Ayer cut. Period. See you in Vegas. Hell yeah, Steven. Can't wait to see you. Thanks. Thanks for the $10, man. And for $20, hail Gary, wishing everyone a happy and healthy time in Vegas. Indeed. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And where are we at? Okay. I'm going to have to run here pretty soon on a limited time here. I got to get ready. Got to make videos. Got to, I'm going to, oh, look at this. What the hell? Oh, that's not working. That's not working either. Hang on. Nice frozen face. We're going to add. Yeah, what the fuck? Boom, ba-doom, boom, boom. There we go. That'll work. Oh, why is the chat box on too? There we go. Look at Az. It says, I love you, Papa Bear. That's really gay. I love you too, boo. Az is awesome. Go check out Heel versus Babyface. By the way, Real BBC tomorrow, and I will be bagging and boarding my Suicide Squad comics. Did you see this? This is the Arkham City fucking Batman. This is the best fucking Batman, and it looks like the Batman Dead End and Batman Dying Isn't Easy Batman, doesn't it? It's fucking awesome. And tomorrow I'll show off my, it's right over there. I'll give you a peek of it. You see it behind Gandalf? Hulkbuster. You'll see that tomorrow. There's going to be room tours going up over the next 2 days. I put up my first one, and that is this back corner right here. And we'll do it in like little sections. We'll go around and we'll do it in little sections. And by the way, from Vegas, I'll be on the road. I'll be doing my vlogs on Nerdrotic Live and then some stuff on Nerdrotic Daily. We'll kind of mix it up. So pay attention to both of those channels. I don't know if I'll do another nooner from Vegas. Probably not. But you never know. I could wake up in the morning and change my mind and do one real quick. There'll be a square up before I leave. I'm leaving Wednesday morning early to golf. I'm going to golf. So do not forget here. Let's go. Oh, whoa. Hang on. I got to fix this now. Let's do this one more time. Boom. And we go there. Okay. That's better. It's all fixed. We got a WG for $100. Holy shit. Says a bit early, but happy birthday, Gary. As you get up there in age, I hope this goes towards some Fixodent and Centrum silver vitamins. Remember, I'm already taking that shit, dude. Never walk past a bathroom or trust a fart at your age. No, I'm... Thanks for leading the fight against Hollywood's propaganda culture. Well, thanks, WG, for the $100. I earned that. Thanks, buddy. Yeah. And there it is. We got to show it off. Yeah, never trust a fart at my age. That's for sure. Yeah, my birthday's coming up. So it's in and around Vegas. So Vegas is kind of a birthday thing too. Right? So, but I mean, when you get past 50, do you celebrate birthdays? No, not really. I guess you're just relieved. They're relieved parties. You're like, I made it. It's going to be 52. I should make it a DC themed, right? 52. I could be the new 52. It could be my rebirth. And I am a boomer. I am most certainly a boomer. And thanks again, Az. I read that one already. Okay. So Vegas. Yes, I wanted to show you guys. I can't really. All right, so it's going to be August 12th and 14th, both at 6 p.m. at the Millennium Fandom Bar, 900 South Las Vegas Boulevard. Please go to nerdrotic.com. And if you click on the poster, it will take you to the Millennium Fandom Bar website. You can get directions from there, or you can tell your Uber driver. Or yeah, and it's just past the Stratosphere. If you're going, I believe it's east. I don't know if that's technically east, but the opposite way of where the sun sets. Okay, but since it's South Las Vegas Boulevard, I don't know if it's if you're going south or north, to be honest with you. It looks like east to me. So it's past the Stratosphere, away from the Strip, not going back into the Strip. It's a couple blocks past there. You're right near the wedding chapel where Mrs. Nerdrotic and I got married. You're going to drive right past it. Viva Las Vegas wedding chapel is where we got married by the Grim Reaper on Halloween of 2003. It will be karaoke night. Thursday is the main meetup because we have a room off to the side. We have a limited number of wristbands. We have, I don't have as much swag as Jeremy. I'm not bringing like 2 fucking cases of swag. I'm bringing some posters, a couple of hats. I don't have that much swag. I just don't. Sorry. But we got posters but we do giveaways on Instagram all the time. All the time. So follow me on Instagram, instagram.com/nerdrotic. Mrs. Nerdrotic's handling all that stuff. So it's karaoke night. We're going to have a room off to the side. We have food. We have a limited number of drink tickets, a limited amount of food, and we have prizes. Now, I might not have swag, but I'm going to have some awesome prizes that you will like quite a bit. We'll probably do like some lottery thing or something to work that out. But so we've got that. Then the second meetup is going to be a more casual affair, just in the bar, 6 p.m. We're going to be hanging out in the bar, hanging out outside, whatever. And we are purposefully not organizing the event so we can do other stuff in between, last minute. Keep an eye on Twitter, the community section on this channel right here, for any last minute announcements like, hey, we're going to hang out at the Tiki Bar at Treasure Island. I mean, we're not hanging out there, but that's an example. In a half an hour if you want to meet there. We'll probably do something like that. What's the other thing? I'm going to the Star Trek convention on Saturday, and I'm going to also probably go to a comic shop or 2 on Saturday. Don't know which ones, though. And there's a lot going on. Friday Night Tights is a go. We are going to be doing it from John Bartolo's studio. So thanks to John Bartolo. Big thanks. And more details on that later. Give him proper plugs and everything. And that's it for now. The Grizzly says, also, what do you think of the future films after Hollywood fails? I don't think that the big corps can continue pissing off fans and giving everyone the finger, hoping to chase a wider audience that never shows up. I don't think they'll be able to. I don't know. I don't think Hollywood is going to crash. I think it's going to fundamentally change. And I think it will be run by Silicon Valley. I think it already is run by Silicon Valley. We just need to the theaters aren't going to die completely either. There's still going to be some theaters, but they're not going to drive things anymore. I think those days are done. I mean, do you see a $1 billion movie happening anytime soon? Even after, okay, do you see a world without the coof? I don't. I see a world where people are more comfortable with it. I see a world down the road where people finally realize, life is just as dangerous every time I get in my car than the possibility of getting a coof. I see a time where some people chill the fuck out, right? Personally, I'm not going to live my life in fear. I already did that. It's not fun. And to anybody who says, well, I hope you get it. And that, you know what? I might. So fucking what? I hope you don't get it. But if people want to hope I die based on my opinion, it's so fucking, I mean, like, you've got much more to worry about than the coof. I hope you don't get it. But I'm not going to live my life in fear. I'm going to live my life. How long were you in jail and what were you in for? Asked Larry Herzog Jr. for $50. I was in, grand total in my life, 4 years. I was in for 2.5 years at Folsom, mostly Folsom. I was at Donovan receiving, but Folsom for most of the time. And I was in for burglary. First degree, because there's degrees. Long time ago, though. I have tried to look up my own record, and I refuse to pay for it. I could probably just walk down to a police station here in San Diego and probably get it. It's fucking long. I know that. But yeah, it's been 25 years since I got what? How long has it been since 1994? 1993, 1994. 2004 to 2014. It's been almost 30 years since I've been out. So it's a long time. All right. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, I might do a video on Liberty. I've gotten a lot of very positive response from the Rekieta show. By the way, we're going to have Nick Rekieta back on Friday Night Tights. It's going to be after the summer, though, because he's doing some family stuff during the summer, but he said he'll come on in the fall. So we'll have him on. Thanks again to Chrissy Mayer for coming in, being a wench. And of course, the great Carrie Smith, who is just fucking brilliant every time she comes on the show. She is the hero we need. She is it's the ladies who've got the big metaphorical balls, and I love it. I freaking love it. Carrie Smith, Chrissy Mayer, Gina Carano. Glad they are on our side. We need them, and we need you, and we need more common sense on this platform. So don't bite into those fucking black pills. If you think you got the gift for gab, get on here. Infiltrate. That's what they did. We need to do what they did because it succeeded, and it's going to take years. But if we want to win our country back, because we're losing our country, by the way. It was funny is like Suicide Squad had an anti-U.S. message that I thought was really spot on for this administration. Thought it was absolutely spot on for this administration. I doubt that's what James Gunn intended, but it's funny. Time can change your perspective on things, whether it's meant to or not. So, see you in Vegas. The rest of the super chats will be read on Square Up. You're going to get a Square Up probably Tuesday night. It's going to be long. I've already got half of it recorded. Thank you all. Thank you to the Modrotics. Thanks to everyone who left a donation. And may the wings of liberty never lose a feather.
Nerderotic.com.
This is an interesting super chat from Sander Hammerslag for €5. He says, "Hey Gary, Picard over here premiered with 358,000 viewers. It dropped to 212,000 viewers in 2 weeks on the regular Dutch TV and Nerd. That's interesting, Sander Hammerslag. Let me tell you something that I heard. You can take this with a grain of salt from my guy who used to." By that way, that's the ending. He used to work at. He doesn't work at Viacom anymore. He is gone. But that's how many people watch Star Trek Discovery. Between 300,000 and 200,000 people on their streaming service. $10 million an episode. Thank you, Sander Hammerslag. More confirmation. Picard was utter garbage, and yes, I will come out with a review before season 2. Ciao. got a $10 donation from Dyslexic American. It says, "Hail, I recently rewatched the 2003 Teen Titans. I need more of these characters and was wondering if you have read any of the other Teen Titans comics and what ones would I recommend?" Well, I would highly recommend the Marv Wolfman George Perez run from the 80s, and I would also highly recommend the Jeff Johns run from the early 2000s. Why is that skipping? Sorry about that. Yeah, credits were skipping. So yes, you have a lot of great things to choose from. As far as the Teen Titans are concerned, they have two phenomenal runs. They had a really good run in the 90s, too, when there was just the Titans. There's also Graduation Day, which is a short it's basically what happens after the whole Donna Troy thing. And then, of course, my favorite crossover of all time, Apocalypse Now, Dark Side, Dark Phoenix, Teen Titans, and the X-Men, which was a super special that came out in 1986, I think. Check them out, and they're not that expensive. Ciao. Don't forget, The Real BBC, tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific time. I'm pretty sure it's on my channel, but I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure, just pretty sure. It's been a week. I've slept since then a couple of times. Okay, now I'm really done. Bye.